all over West Michigan. This is 24-Hour News 8 Football Frenzy.
Well, welcome to another special Saturday high school and college edition of the Football Frenzy. Michigan State making a statement today in East Lansing. Michigan and Ohio State meeting for the 112th time, this time in Ann Arbor. And tempers flaring as Grand Valley State and Ferris State tangled in the national playoffs for the very first time. But we begin tonight in the high school ranks. The West Catholic Falcons hoping to join Zeeland West and Muskegon Catholic Central as the third West Michigan team to bring home a state championship this weekend, and like the Crusaders with what would be the Falcons' third in a row. West Catholic facing off with 11-1 River Rouge in the Division 5 final this afternoon at Ford Field. Scoreless late in the first. That's David Fox quarterback draw. Huge hole up the middle, and David zipping into the secondary and going 64 yards to pay dirt. It was 7-0 West Catholic early. Then after River Rouge cut the lead to 7-6 in the second. Fox again on the QB draw. Looks like a replay. Another huge hole. And this time David carrying a would-be tackler into the end zone. 14-6 Falcons at the half. Make it 21-14. Then in the fourth, Gaetano Vallone back in at QB. Rolling right and finding Aaron Hall, who powers and then leaps his way over the plane. A 9-yard score to up the lead to 28-14. Make it 33-28 Falcons. Less than 2 to play, and Sam Novell finishes it off. The Falcons completing the three-peat. West Catholic does it yet again, this time outgunning River Rouge 40-34.
We take a lot of pride in it. We pride ourselves, and we set our goals in the beginning of this end of the spring, saying our goal is to win another state championship. And we've managed to do it for the last 3 years.
It's extremely special, and I'm a pretty emotional guy, so to be able to share that and hug those people and be with them in this, that's kind of what our community is about. And it's built on family, tradition, and hard work, and we're going to continue to work hard. And I can tell you right now, our goal will be back here next year, whether we do it or not. It's not going to be easy, but that'll be our goal.
Congratulations, guys. In Division 7, Palma Westphalia was just 4 minutes away from a state title when Ozzie Corp broke the plane for his third touchdown of the day. Ishpeming taking the D7 crowd 22-16. In the college ranks, the scenario for Michigan State was simple. Win and you're in. Not only in the Big Ten championship game for the third time in 5 years, but with another win next Saturday, more than likely in the national playoff. Spartans hoping to wrap up the Big Ten East title at the expense of the visiting Nittany Lions of Penn State. Big question, would Connor Cook return? Answer, yep, and in a big way. Spartans opening drive, Cook down the middle in stride to R.J. Shelton. 29 yards, extra point failed, 6-0 Spartans. Make it 20-10 in the third, and Cook firing near side for Aaron Burbridge, and check out the moves. Spins out of one tackle, spins free of another, and takes it the distance. Again, 29 yards. It was 27-10. Later in the third, Cook, and check out the double reverse fake here. Oh, he sells it and then zips for Josiah Price for the score. That would up the lead to 24. Spartan defense would add 2 touchdowns, and then how about this? Senior center, Jake Allen, the 300-pounder at running back scores. Michigan State headed to the Big Ten title game for the third time in 5 years, hammering Penn State 55-16. Zach Sapanik with more from East Lansing.
On senior day at Spartan Stadium, the cheers were loudest for Connor Cook when he took the field to lead the Spartans on their first drive. A drive in which he went 5 of 6 for 63 yards and threw his 69th career touchdown pass. He would add 2 more on the day in what would be a dominating win over Penn State in his final home game.
Connor Cook came out and played extremely well for a guy that really hadn't practiced, but really he practiced on Thursday for the first time in 2 weeks. I thought he excelled. Played tremendously. Big catches down the field.
Line did a great job. We knew going into the game they had a very, very talented D-line. They led the nation in sacks. Nassib led the nation in individual sacks with 14.5, and we watched a lot of film just on their D-line. Seeing how they play and stuff. And credit to the O-line, they did. I think they played their best game today.
Tremendous crowd on Thanksgiving weekend, and I want to thank Spartan Nation for showing up loud. Excited. Everybody goes home happy, so that's great for everybody. And everybody goes home an East champion, not just our players, but our fans do as well.
Since their loss to Nebraska a few weeks ago, the Spartans have completely turned things around and face their biggest challenge yet this season, an undefeated Iowa Hawkeyes team next week in the Big Ten championship game. In East Lansing, Zach Sapanik, 24-Hour News 8.
Thanks, Zach. Michigan and Ohio State renewing acquaintances in what is considered by many, if not most, to be the greatest rivalry in college football history. Now, neither knew for sure at the time that Michigan State would have put an end to their Big Ten title hopes, but both were still hoping with a win to keep their faint national playoff hopes alive. Wolverines hoping to snap a skid which had seen the Buckeyes win 12 of the last 14 in the series. Ohio State up 7-3 in the second. J.T. Barrett to Ezekiel Elliott. Walks in from 5 yards out. It was 14-3 Buckeyes. Wolverines answered late in the half. Jake Rudock to J.U. Chesson. That pulled Michigan back within 4 at the half, but the Buckeyes dominated after the break. Elliott again, 9 more of his 214 rushing yards on the day. Barrett threw for 1, ran for 2 others. Buckeyes blast the Wolverines 42-13. Casey Jones was there and has the post-game report from the Big House.
Well, Larry, despite the disparities, the big disparities on the scoreboard, 42-13, and then, of course, the big one in the rushing game, 369 Ohio State rushing yards compared to Michigan's just 57. After this game, the players saying the gap between these two teams, not as big as it looked today.
What it is, it's part of a rivalry. Today was, the scoreboard was very sad in terms of what it showed, but I don't think the gap's insurmountable. We're down right now, but we can always come back.
Very proud of the team, the way they've worked, the way they've progressed, and we'll just stay at that. Closed quite a bit of ground. There's still more ground to close on, but knowing our team, they'll stay with it.
So that's it for the regular season, and we finally know now what we can expect from a Jim Harbaugh-coached Michigan Wolverine team. A 9-3 finish, and this team, unlike last year, will be headed to a bowl game. So now it's a wait and see which bowl game that'll be, but they do know they'll at least have 15 more practices, which they say can only make them better. In Ann Arbor, Casey Jones, 24-Hour News 8.
Thanks, Case. In Division II, they had met 44 different times over the years, but never in the postseason. Until today, Grand Valley State and Ferris State squaring off in the national playoffs for the first time. Lakers hoping to avenge that 61-24 thumping at the hands of the Dogs back in Allendale back in mid-September. This one in Big Rapids. Ferris down 7 late first. Jason Vanderlaan fires for a wide-open Antonio Eggers, 35 yards. We're tied up at 7. Make it 20-17 Dogs late in the second. Grand Valley countering. Bart Williams firing deep for Erston Smith, who makes the diving grab. 30 yards, 24-20 Lakers at the half. Ferris down, 31-27 in the fourth. Vanderlaan into a small window for Jamal Lockett, 15 yards. Dogs led at 34-31, but 8.5 to play. GVSU answers. Bart Williams on the slant to Matt Williams, and that's your game winner. Grand Valley moves on to the final 8, eliminating second-ranked Ferris 38-34.
A lot of people want to make the Ferris thing out to be the first thing out, and they're a rival institution, but in my viewpoint, we're 1-16. It's a good football team. We're trying to be 1-8, and now we're only 1-8 teams left in the nation, and they happen to be the team that we were playing. There's a lot of backstories, a lot of rivalries, all that stuff, but at the end of the day, we had to win this game to survive. It wasn't about beating Ferris. It was about surviving and advancing in the playoffs.
And the hottest team in West Michigan plays, ironically, on the ice. Grand Rapids Griffins highlights up next. On the ice, from worst team in the league to the hottest in a matter of 2 weeks and against some of the league's best teams. Suddenly surging Grand Rapids Griffins gunning for a 6th straight win tonight at Van Andel Arena. Would have to do so, however, without Tomas Jurko, who was recalled by the Red Wings early this morning. Griffins hosting the first-place Lake Erie Monsters at the Van, down 2-1 in this one in the second, but on the power play, look at that passing. Ryan Sproul, Andy Mealy, Eric Tangrady were tied at 2. They would go to overtime, and then Nathan Page steals a pass in front for Mitch Callahan, and he goes top shelf. That's your game winner. The Griffins make it 6 in a row. They knock off the first-place Monsters 3-2 tonight in overtime. On the hardwood, Grand Rapids Drive also at home just down the road at the Deltaplex, entertaining the Iowa Energy tonight. Early on, Devin Ebanks can't get this to go, but Henry Sims there for the putback and the follow to get the drive off and running. Later, they'll just nice ball movement, and that's Ryan Boatwright, 3 from beyond the arc. Grand Rapids Drive winners tonight as well in overtime. They knock off the Energy 106-104. And the Grand Rapids Sports Hall of Fame Classic wrapping up tonight. Cornerstone knocking off Hope in the championship game 73-67. Aquinas over Calvin in the third place game 87-77. So high school football wraps up with 3 state champs. Michigan State still hoping to be a champ of their own.
Hardest working man in show business today.
Fun stuff. It's a good time of year.
Thanks, Larry. Stay with us. Bill's in next with a final look at your forecast.